I wanted to make another quick video here, show you what can be done if you just kind of keep your eyes open while you're driving along and take the time. I wanted to add a lot of cedars to my landscape to go along with the rhodies, because they make a beautiful screen against traffic, or if you live on a busy road or have a lot of neighbors around you. And they really just grow big and beautiful if you take good care of them. I mean, cedars can go for a lot of money in nurseries, but you know, as I drive back and forth to my day job, I noticed there was a little hillside along the road where there were just a ton of these, I mean, more than you could even count, these little baby cedars growing. And one day I just stopped and I spent an hour and just dug up, it's just right on the side of the road, county property. I just dug up a bunch of little red cedars and came home, potted them up, and here they are. And these things are gonna, I mean, they were free. I just took the time to dig them up, and there they are. I fertilized them, I watered them. They'll be perfect for the landscape in the years to come. I've already planted some of them out on our landscape, and they're growing beautifully. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that, show you what can be done if you just don't have a lot of money and you just take the time to look. I mean, I wouldn't ever advise going up onto somebody's property, or you know, taking things that aren't yours, but from somebody else. But you know, this was just growing on the side of the road. It was nobody's property. It was county, out in the middle of nowhere pretty much. And anyway, I just dug them up, and there they are. They're free, and they're nice, and they're beautiful, and they're going to make some nice cedar trees over time. As long as I'm here, I might as well show you the propagation bed that I've had going now. These rhodies were all propagated and put into the soil here, what was it, not last, yeah, last fall. Just last fall I put these in. And once again, I'm a little bit, I just can't figure out for the life of me why I'm having such a hard time with this variety, but I'm going to try something new this year. You can probably hear the chickens in the background making a ruckus. Anyway, this is called Senator Jackson, beautiful white flower, and I'm working on propagating that one. It's been 3 years now. I haven't gotten one to root, but I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try and take the cuttings and stick them later this year so they're a little more hardened off. I think that's been my problem. But as you can see, I've got plenty more cuttings behind that took. Got a bunch of Tiana over there. Miss Maiden, I think their buds are swelling, and I think by maybe next spring they might start taking off. Karen Triplet, that's a really pretty variety. It's a yellow, and it's actually got a scent to it. Anyway, these guys, we've just let go through the summer. I fertilized the whole bed here after they started rooting, and they've been growing real nice through the summer. A lot of these didn't take, and I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. This year was kind of a rougher year. I didn't get as many as I wanted to take, and I'm not sure why that is. It wasn't a real cold winter, and I wonder if that just encouraged a lot of fungus through the winter. Usually when it's cold and things freeze over and then they thaw in the spring, you get a lot better results. But this year, a lot of these cuttings didn't make it, but a lot of them did, and I'll have more than I can handle in the spring. But these right here were a very big leaf variety. I had some Maccabianum. What do I have over here? Sinagrand. And I actually got 2 of the Sinagrand to root. That's the leaves will get 15 inches when they're mature, and that's a real pretty variety. I love that one. It's a species rhododendron, but none of the Maccabianum took. The bigger leaves are just harder to root, but it was an experiment. Anyway, that's what all this is anyway. You just kind of learn as you go, and every variety does what it wants to and has its own little special way that it takes. But anyway, just thought I'd show you that. Alright, thanks a lot for watching. I just wanted to make a quick update here. This is actually a year after I just showed that last scene, and where the propagation bed was and all the cuttings were stuck. these are all of those cuttings potted up 1 year later. Actually, it's about, I don't know, a year and a few months now because we're in September. I potted all these up this spring, and this is what came out of that bed. They've all put on just a ton of new growth this summer, and they just look great. I lost a couple. You always do. Just some of them don't root quite as well as the others. But shoot, I mean, there are a ton of them in here that did just wonderfully, and they're all growing really, really nice. So these are in 2-gallon pots here. I'm kind of getting to a point where my landscape is just filled up with rhododendrons. I still have more areas that I definitely want to landscape in them, but I'm getting to a point where I need to clear some more land to do that, so I'm going to have to start selling more of these guys this year. You can see that, you know, I just keep turning over rhodies, selling more and making room for the new ones. These guys over here are all obviously a few years older, and I'm going to have to sell some of these next year now to clear out the greenhouse. There's a nice variety there. I think I showed that in another video, and that's President Roosevelt, and they're just getting even bigger. The one thing about this variety, though, that I don't care for as much is they tend to be a little bit weaker down at the base. I suppose if you pruned it, that would take care of that problem, but you got to be real careful in a high wind area until they're really well established. But they are a beautiful flower. It's got kind of a white center to the flower, and then it flares out to a pinkish red edge. Really pretty. Got a few new varieties this year. Oh, let me show you my species rhododendrons. I took a trip to the Rhododendron Species Foundation up in Federal Way, Washington, and picked up a few new species varieties. They're really nice. A lot of these, of course, are big leaf varieties because I'm just really getting into those. They're harder to propagate. In fact, most people don't propagate these by taking cuttings. They just propagate them from seed. But, you know, I'm always willing to try something new. So nothing's going to happen with these other than just growing them on. I'll plant them out in the landscape probably next spring, and just let them grow for probably 10 years before I try to do anything with them in the way of propagation. These particular varieties will do okay out on the landscape with our winters getting down to 20 and sometimes in the high teens. There are some varieties that won't do as well, but these ones will. There's some other varieties I got over there at that at the Species Foundation, and this one I'm really excited about in particular. It's called Nuttallii, and it's a species, and it's probably got the most beautiful rhododendron, or beautiful flower of all the rhododendrons, but it needs to be in a real temperate climate. I think it comes from somewhere around northern India, northern to central India, and in the wild, and so it really needs warmer temperatures. I think it's like cold hardy to plus 20, and so this guy will definitely not make it outside in the cold over, you know, too many winters here. I mean, if we touch down into the 20s quite a bit. But I'm going to turn it into a house plant. We'll see how that works out. This is a new variety from over in Europe called Everred. It's the first year it's been introduced into this country for sale that I'm aware of. And the Rhododendron Species Foundation, I believe, have an exclusive on that for right now. And it's just a really nice one. They had one that was growing in the landscape that was really full. It was probably 3 foot high, and it just was awesome with the sun shining through. The leaves underneath are really red. The tops are red. They're starting to turn a little more green now because we're getting more towards winter, but you can see the newer growth right here is red, and when the buds first start opening and forming new leaves, they're just a bright red. The flowers are also red, and it's just a really neat newer variety. This one right here is called Wine and Roses, I believe. I also got that at the Species Foundation, and it's just an interesting rhodie because it's got this reddish purple kind of undermentum on the leaves here. And the flowers I think are going to be a pink kind of color. I haven't seen it bloom yet. But anyway, just something interesting here to add to the landscape. It's all just keeps moving along. You can see some raspberries. I took some raspberry cuttings from my mother-in-law's place, and they're starting to grow into the rhodies here. They're in pots outside. I need to get them planted out. I'll give you a quick update of the garden here. I think at the beginning of this video, I've got an update of what it looked like a year ago. Well, this is what I've done this summer now, a year later. I ended up taking a huge pile that I'd been storing up of horse manure, cow manure, shavings, just all kinds of stuff, letting it compost, and I just filled in that entire hole I had dug with the backhoe. So we're going to have a real nice garden next year. I just need to line it out with some cedar planks or something, and then on down this way is going to be the berry plants. I'm going to have blueberries, and then those raspberries will be planted along there. So anyway, that's the latest update on the garden. Alright, thanks for watching.